Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this sun of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarums changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasings of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I that am rudely stamped and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why I in this weak piping time of peace have no delight to pass away the time, unless to spy my shadow in the sun, and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, through drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate the one against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up about a prophecy which says the G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul, here Clarence comes. Brother, good day. What means this armored guard that waits upon your grace?
His Majesty hath appointed this conduct to convey me to the Tower.
Upon what cause?
Because my name is George.
Alack, my lord, that fault is none of yours. Well, belike his Majesty hath some intent that you shall be new christened in the Tower. Well, what's the matter, Clarence? May I know?
Yea, Richard, when I know, for I protest as yet I do not. But as I can learn, he hearkens after prophecies and dreams, and from the crossroads plucks the letter G, and says that a wizard told him that by G his issue disinherited should be, and from my name of George begins with a G, it follows in his thought that I am he. These, as I learn, and such like toys of these, have moved his Majesty to commit me now.
Why, this it is, when men are ruled by women. 'Tis not the king that sends you to the Tower. My Lady Grey, his wife, Clarence, 'tis she. Was it not she that sent Lord Hastings to the Tower? From whence this present day he is delivered, we are not safe, Clarence. We are not safe.
By heaven, I think there's no man that is secure but the Queen's kindred, and night-walking heralds who trudge betwixt the king and Mistress Shore.
I beseech your graces both to pardon me. His Majesty has straitly given in charge that no man shall have private conference of what degree soever with his brother.
Even so, and it please your worship, Brackenbury, you may partake of anything we say. We speak no treason, man. We say the king is wise and virtuous, and that his noble queen, well struck in years, fair and not jealous. We say that Shore's wife hath a pretty foot, a cherry lip, a bonny eye, and a passing pleasing tongue. And that the queen's kindred are made gentlefolk. How say you, sir? Can you deny all this?
With this, my lord, myself have naught to do.
Naught to do with Mistress Shore? I tell thee, fellow, he that doth naught with her, excepting one, were best he do it secretly alone.
What one, my lord?
Her husband, knave. Wouldst thou betray me?
I beseech your grace to pardon me, and withal, forbear your conference with the noble duke.
We know thy charge, Brackenbury, and will obey.
We are the queen's abjects, and must obey. Brother, farewell. I will unto the king, and whatsoe'er you will employ me, and were it to call King Edward's widow's sister, I will perform it to enfranchise you. Meantime, this deep disgrace in brotherhood touches us deeper than you can imagine.
I know it. It pleases neither of us well.
Well, your imprisonment shall not be long. Meantime, have patience.
I must perforce. Farewell.
Go, tread the path that thou shalt never return. Simple, plain Clarence. I do love thee so that I will shortly send thy soul to heaven, if heaven will take the present at our hands. But who comes here? The new delivered Hastings.
Good time of day unto my gracious lord.
Well, are you welcome to the open air? How hath your lordship brooked imprisonment?
With patience, noble lord, as prisoners must. But I shall live, my lord, to give them thanks that were the cause of my imprisonment.
No doubt, and so shall Clarence too, for they that were your enemies are his, and have prevailed as much on him as you. What news abroad?
No news abroad so bad as this at home. The king is sickly, weak, and melancholy, and his physicians do fear him mightily.
Now, by St. George, that news is bad indeed. Oh, he hath kept an evil diet long, and overmuch consumed his royal person. What, is he in his bed?
He is.
Go you before, and I will follow. He cannot live, I hope, and must not die till George be packed with post-horse up to heaven. I'll in to urge his hatred more to Clarence, and if I fail not in my deep intent, Clarence hath not another day to live. Which done, God take King Edward to his mercy and leave the world for me to bustle in. For then I'll marry Warwick's youngest daughter. What, though I killed her husband and his father? The readiest way to make the wench amends is to become her husband and her father. But yet I run before my horse to market. Clarence still breathes, Edward still lives and reigns. When they are gone, then must I count my gains.